Coming up on the St. Joseph Mustangs show, the organization honoring the history of baseball in St. Joe with a Saints night. Plus, a former East Buchanan Bulldog having a lot of success in his summer with the Mustangs, and the founder of the Mustangs, the late Dan Gerson, going into the St. Joe Baseball Hall of Fame this weekend.
Slice to right, it's coming in, it's down! This game is over!
I'm ready to show my hand, ready to take a stand, wait on a sign above, and I am ready, I'm ready to face the fire, ready to walk the wire, waiting for my king to come.
And with that, welcome into the St. Joseph Mustangs show, sponsored by Alltech and First Student, episode number 6 of the 2024 season. Happy to be with you again this week. I'm Chris Roush, and we have a lot to get to, including a conversation with Mustangs owner Kai Turner, KQ2's Brett Kennedy sitting down with former East Buchanan pitcher Bronco Witt, KQ2's Anthony Crane diving into the career of a local baseball player who is playing for another team in the Mink League this summer. But first, we start with the Mustangs' induction of Dan Gerson into the St. Joe Baseball Hall of Fame. Gerson passing away back in September, and the Mustangs organization inducting their founder and former owner into the Hall of Fame this weekend. The longtime Mustangs owner created and brought the Mustangs to town in 2009, essentially bringing baseball back to the city and to Phil Walsh Stadium. Here is Gerson talking about the team and the continued success for the last several years late last summer.
They're going to just continue to put a great product out on the field. And, you know, we won last year. And I'm going to be saying we a lot, Chris. I haven't lost that. I haven't lost it. So it's the Mustangs are still a we when I'm talking.
Gerson loved baseball, but he also loved helping the community. The Mustangs is continuing to do that, and they hosted a literacy event this week at Washington Park Library. Mustangs players read to children of all ages. The kids also given free ballpark snacks and enjoyed a variety of fun activities with the Mustangs. Owner Kai Turner is saying it's all about giving back to the community who supports the team so much.
St. Joe supports the Mustangs so well. You'll see thousands of people at Phil Walsh Stadium nearly every Mustangs game, and so it's important for us as well with that same breath to support the community that supports us. But then also, education is really important to our organization, our players. We are, student athletes. All of our players are in college, so preaching the importance of reading, education, but then also to come out here for a little bit of fun too.
Gerson brought baseball back to the city with the Mustangs after the Black Snakes had a short stint in the mid-2000s, but before that, another team dominated the scene for many years, the St. Joseph Saints, and the Mustangs honoring the historic team.
We are honoring the tradition of St. Joe baseball.
Throwing this uniform back on is really bringing back some memories. It's a pretty cool experience.
America's pastime very much woven into the fabric of St. Joseph. And you don't have to look any further than with the St. Joseph Saints.
We wanted affordable family entertainment.
The Mustangs organization honoring their predecessors this summer. A chance for those former front office executives and the guys putting on those light blue uniforms to get back on the field at Phil Walsh Stadium.
I played for the Saints for 2 years. Fortunate enough to be able to coach them. We went to Wichita, we went off. Some of the greatest players that have ever been around. Many of them went on to play in Major League Baseball.
I guess I'm getting up in age now, and some of the guys that are playing, and I have to say, I was the Mustangs before the Mustangs were. Do you remember the Saints? And they were like, I was born in 2003, and so yeah, it makes me feel old. But man, we've had some really, really good ball players here throughout the years.
Baseball greats like the legendary late great Buck O'Neil came to Phil Walsh Stadium when the Saints played here. Dan Ugla, a former Miami Marlins All-Star, also played for the Saints.
guy's forearms were huge. He was a big guy, but also super humble, man. I came in as a high school senior, and he said, "What position do you play?" He was a shortstop as well, and I said short. He said, "I'll take second." And I still think about that to this day, that, heck, man, he deferred and gave me that spot because I was comfortable there.
And the squad also faced off against some future big leaguers too.
I was telling my son on the way here, like, we faced Jobber Chamberlain one night, and he was 99 to 101 that night. And so there's just stuff that you recall. And my kid, Seth Gilliland, he was 96 and 98, and you didn't see the ball, you heard the ball.
The Saints meant a lot to many in St. Joseph, especially the Diamond Club.
Our mission was just to support this organization in whatever we could do to do it. And we had fundraisers.
Whatever we needed. We just put the word out, and there was always a crew here to do the work. And that's what made this Saints baseball part of the community.
This team of St. Joe baseball past called Phil Welch Stadium home for years. And with the Mustangs honoring them, it's a way to make sure the Saints' contributions to the game here in St. Joseph aren't soon forgotten.
The Mustangs, Dan Gerson and Kai, have pretty much brought to fruition what we had dreamed of when we started the Mink League and when we started Saints baseball.
Still ahead on the St. Joseph Mustangs show, a recent Northwest Missouri area graduate is pitching in the Mink League, but not for the Mustangs. And a former East Buchanan Bulldogs pitcher is enjoying success this summer with the Mustangs. Stay tuned. You're watching the St. Joe Mustangs show right here on KQ2. Welcome back. The Mustangs pitchers have been throwing at a high level for a lot of this summer. One guy enjoying a lot of success so far, Bronco Witt. KQ2's Brett Kennedy sitting down with the former East Buchanan Bulldog this week.
I'm here with St. Joseph Mustangs pitcher Bronco Witt, the East Buchanan alum. And Bronco, we're going to first start off with a kind of a fun question. It's only fitting with all these horse references. You're playing for the Mustangs. Your name's Bronco. Do you know the difference between a Bronco and a Mustang?
Not really. I think the Bronco is just a little bit more wild.
That's a good start there. I honestly didn't know either. I had to look it up. Per the internet, Mustangs tend to be more compact, averaging 13 to 15 hands tall with stocky builds. Broncos are usually bigger at 14 to 16 hands tall with more muscle. That leads itself to more rodeo athleticism. So, I mean, you were pretty close. With Broncos being more muscular, you've been muscling out the strikeouts this year, man. You are currently in first place with 28 strikeouts in the Mink League as a mid-relief pitcher. That's pretty impressive. In your eyes, what's been working this season in your opportunities here that you've gotten for the Mustangs?
I'm just really able to trust all my pitches, throw everything with a lot of conviction, because I know my team behind me is great. Got the best infield and outfield that I've ever played with, catching has been outstanding, so much trust in just the guys around me to where all I have to do is really throw strikes.
I asked Denton Biller last week if he had any pitching superstitions that he follows, because a lot of pitchers have them, and he said the day before he starts, he goes to Chipotle, and 2 days before he clips his nails. So as a pitcher, I'll ask you the same thing. Do you have any superstitions that you follow on game day?
I don't really do anything crazy. The only thing I do is I don't ever wash my hands. As soon as I get to the field, I don't wash my hands. I just don't want my hands to be wet. It's not really superstition or anything. I just don't do it. I don't know. Nothing crazy like Denton, though. Your
sister, Zora Witt, stud volleyball player for East Buchanan off to Iowa Central Community College. I'll put you on the spot a little bit here. Who is the better athlete in the family, you or your sister?
It's probably me. I don't want to brag, but we'll play volleyball in the backyard, and I'll still beat her.
Zora, no disrespect. I had to ask him. How has playing with this team this summer made you a better player?
Just looking at everyone else and seeing, you got so many good arms, so many just good players in general, Even if it's not pitching, you're learning stuff about how batters and how fielders do things, You're just picking up so many different things from so many players and coaches over the years. It's amazing.
How cool has it been to play here at Phil Welch at a stadium that I'm sure you went to growing up? How cool has it been to finally get to play for the Mustangs here?
Yeah, it's really cool. growing up around here, growing up in Gower, I mean, everybody, you know, baseball players, you want to play for the Mustangs. You know, that's the goal. And, I mean, it's really cool to play for them and to finally be playing at Phil Welch.
Personal goals that you have for yourself this summer. Obviously, you guys want to win a Mink League title, but personal pitching goals that you have for yourself for the rest of the summer with this team.
I mean, really just not trying to be too consumed by the numbers, you know, if they're good or bad, you know, either way. I mean, the only outing that matters is the next one, you know. So, I mean, try to keep the numbers, good or bad, in the back of the head, you know. Just go out there. All that matters is the next game and keep learning. Learn from everyone, you know. Learn from the pitchers, learn from the coaches. I mean, so many great minds here. You just want to learn everything you can.
Well, Bronco Witt, thank you so much. Check him out this summer. Great pitcher here for the St. Joseph Mustangs from East Buchanan High School.
Coming up on the St. Joseph Mustangs show, a recent area high school graduate is pitching in the Mink League, but he's not pitching for the St. Joseph Mustangs. And up next, Mustangs owner Kai Turner talking the impact of the founder of the Mustangs, the late Dan Gerson, and the impact he had on baseball and the city of St. Joseph. Welcome back to the St. Joseph Mustangs show, sponsored by Alltech and First Student. Postseason baseball not too far away, but before we get into all that, it's about honoring the founder of the Mustangs. Kai Turner joining me again this week as we talk upcoming games and Dan Gerson's impact on baseball here in St. Joseph. Joined again this week by the owner of the St. Joe Mustangs, Kai Turner. Kai, thanks for your time again this week. Season almost the 4th of July. I guess we should start there with 4th of July coming up next week. A lot of festivities planned?
We've always got a lot of festivities planned, Chris. We just hosted KQ2 out here.
You did?
Mary Grace Rice wanted to sing the national anthem.
She did, did she?
She brought up the movie Pitch Perfect. She wanted to do like a baseball theme on thing, but her pitch was not perfect. But, you know, July 3rd and 4th is some of the best time. I mean, seriously, I mean, it's just so much fun. We look forward to it every year. July 4th is, I don't know, your favorite holiday is probably like Boxing Day or something like
literal
Muhammad
boxing?
Ali fan, I would assume. But July 3rd and 4th, you know, celebrating America, and then just, you know, the 360 of fireworks and the memories we've made here over the years. It's been a lot of fun. And don't you cut this, because I watched last week's, and you cut a lot of the great things that we
went like
said.
10 minutes.
You just extend our time on here. People want it.
All right. So July 3rd and 4th, anything people should know about if they're going to be out here next week?
It's going to be busy. You know, we've sold out of box seats for the reserve box seats. It was the first game that sold out early May. You know, that's a good indicator. July 3rd, the 3rd and the 4th, you know, this year being on a Wednesday, Thursday, that's what's nice. You come here, we got the fireworks, we got the entertainment, we've got the food, we've got your friends and family. Everyone comes out here, and it's become a tradition for a lot of people. And so, you know, it's so much fun.
So you talk about not cutting us off this week like I have had to do in the past. One guy who hated being cut off, if I shortened his interviews, was the legendary Dan Gerson, and that's who you guys are honoring this weekend with the Mustangs, the St. Joe Baseball Hall of Fame going in Saturday night. Obviously, Dan passed last September, but if Dan didn't bring the Mustangs here, there would not be Mustangs baseball probably here in 2024.
Yeah, I mean, Dan had a vision, and you know, he told you what the vision was, and he saw it through, and you know, there's a lot of things, the domino effect that wouldn't have happened. You know, personally for me, I've mentioned this a lot of times, what a mentor he was, and for a lot of different people. I'm going to mention this at his Hall of Fame induction, but you know, not just Mustangs baseball, which, you know, we talk about it. You had a player reach Major League Baseball. Mm-hmm. These guys have opportunities to go play. You know, but we've also got staff. You know, you here.
Yeah.
We've got you know, people at ESPN, yep, or major colleges and universities, or professional sports teams, all because Dan had this dream to bring it here, and it's incredible to see the domino effect. And
I thought it was always interesting when you see Dan at the ballpark. Dan didn't dress like he was the owner. He'd have the dress shorts on, the shirt, and the sunglasses, but he never gave off that "I'm more important than you are." He always had that "I'm here to help, I don't want people to know that I am the owner. I'm not. He didn't like that, did he?
He was very unique, very dry sense of humor, and would definitely call you out on something if it was below standard.
Mm-hmm.
And he did have a high standard, and so it was fun to sometimes be on the opposite side of that and see it happen. It was not fun to be in the middle of it, but more often than not, he was right, and so usually he was right. To be honest with you, and so correct. The way he was just a normal person, and so he didn't want to be treated any different most of the time until he did.
Until one of us would say something to him.
But he just he supported the team. He loved baseball. He loved the people here. He loved St. Joe. He loved just being a part of something, and that's I think what he wanted to do is create something for people to be together.
We'll get out of here with one more lighthearted part of working for Dan. There were some promos I think you probably came up with over the years that he wasn't sold on. Probably.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. Actually, this week we had Minion Night, and I remember the first time I said, Dan, and he brought this one up specifically sometimes in some of our podcasts. I think he thought it was like filet mignon or something. And then I'll never forget Frozen Night, and he had no idea what was going on. But at that point, we were able to develop a trust, and he believed in me, and which was great for me, not all my ideas are good ideas, and it's kind of sad, not to have Dan to kind of walk me back on a few of these things, but on some of these, he's absolutely and supported me, and so Minion Night being one of them, Frozen when we first set our stadium record. When we did the Taylor Swift night and I ran it over with him, I'll never forget, I was over there by the horse corral pen, and he wanted me to take the exact same picture and send it to him so he could compare the two nights difference and go up the hill a little bit. And I'm looking at the photo and he had it pulled up, and but he was really proud of St. Joe and what it's become.
Kai Turner, thank you for the time again this week. You can find my full conversation with Turner on our website at kq2.com. Coming up on the St. Joseph Mustang Show, a recent area high school graduate pitching in the Mink League, but not for the Mustangs. In fact, one of their rivals. Stay tuned. There are a lot of local baseball players playing for the Mustangs this summer, but there are other teams that local ball players tend to play their summers with too. And one area Northwest Missouri pitcher finding his home with the Clarinda A's. KQ2's Anthony Crane brings us more.
Dylan McIntyre was great at whatever he did over his time at Northeast Nodaway. McIntyre was an all-state football player, a conference champion in track, and averaged over 20 points per game in basketball his senior year. But it was baseball that he chose to pursue post-high school.
Well, the main part was just my body, keeping it healthy for the rest of my life, and I don't know, it's fun. I meet a lot of new people, and it's just one I've liked the most.
McIntyre excelled in baseball as one of the area's best players.
Since I think he was in first grade was my first year there at Northeast Nodaway, and watched him grow up, and great kid, great family. I got to watch him become, a young man, and coaching him was, as much fun as it is just being around him normally. His versatility, he's a pretty darn good pitcher coming from the left side with some just great stuff, and we've known he's had that great stuff for so many years, and just getting to watch him hone in on his pitching skills over those last 3 years was just a lot of fun. But I also told people that, he had a chance to be like an all-state center fielder. He could, he played shortstop for us with left-handed. He would catch, he'd do anything you'd ask for, and he's a pretty good first baseman as well.
McIntyre's entering year 2 as a college player, saying year 1 was quite the learning experience for him.
The hitters they're more experienced hitters, so they see a lot better pitching, and it's harder to get it by them, and it's just a lot harder to pitch to them because you don't really know who they are, and you've been facing the same kids for 4 years, and it's just new.
McIntyre spent half the season with Clarinda last year before his first season at North Central Missouri. The Ravenwood native said the experience in both Trenton and Clarinda have been great both personally and on the field.
A heck of an experience. I've learned a lot from the guys from all over the world, all over the country. It's just been a heck of an experience learning everything and meeting new people, and develop me in my skills and helping me out for the long run.
Anthony Crane, KQ2 Sports.
And up next, we go back in the vault. We take a look back at Dan Gerson's goals when bringing baseball back to St. Joseph. Stay tuned.
Well, the first time we talked, I think I told you what I wanted to do, and I think you were a little skeptical of what I was going to do. The city really has stepped up and just been such a big factor in everything people will see when they come to Phil Welsh.
Welcome back. We decided to finish off this week's show with the dreams and goals of the Mustangs founder Dan Gerson when he brought baseball back to town. So for everyone here at KQ2, thank you so much for watching this week, and we leave you with the thoughts from the newest member of the St. Joseph Baseball Hall of Fame, the late, great Dan Gerson.
You give people a good product if the park's clean, if you are making it an exciting thing to come out here for a game and give people a good night out for a good price. I mean, this is a great baseball town. Well, the first time we talked, I think I told you what I wanted to do, and I think you were a little skeptical of what I was going to do. The city really has stepped up and just been such a big factor in everything people will see when they come to Phil Welsh. But I couldn't be more proud of what is going to go on here starting Thursday night.
It really makes me feel great that the town's just reacting even with more love for the Mustangs, and that to see the success that Kai and his team have, and Johnny also, it just really makes me feel really that it's a special thing, that it's going to continue for a long, long time.